Alright guys, so welcome. I'm going to be doing, this is the first video that I'm going to be putting on this new channel. Sorry if the quality is horrible. I'm shooting this thing on my iPhone 6s. Waiting on some camera equipment. Hopefully I'll be able to order that here shortly. Do some better quality videos, but for now I had a buddy of mine ask me for my setup, so I figured why not just shoot a quick little video. Kind of introduce myself and show off what I've got going on right now. So a little bit about me. I'm in the Marine Corps, active duty right now, currently overseas, working on just kind of tinkering around with some technology while I have some in my spare time out here. So a little bit about the setup. So this is a 4-stack little Raspberry Pi cluster case that I got from a guy that 3D printed it off of Etsy. He does them from time to time, and I can put the link in the description if you're interested in ordering one. I think it was like $20 or $30. I'll have to double check. So currently what I got going on right now is the bottom board here is actually a Raspberry Pi 3B. Nice little starter board. Paid about $39, $40, something like that. A little bit about it. It is a quad-core ARM Cortex A53. That thing is running at 1.2 gigahertz. Not a bad little board. It does have Bluetooth 4.0 built into it. It has 802.11n Wi-Fi built into it. It only has a 10100 megabit Ethernet, so it's not quite gigabit, but it's not a bad little board. Right now I have a 64 gig Sandisk Ultra micro SD card in there, and it is being powered by, let me see if I can get back here. It is being powered because I'm going to talk a little bit more about it here in a few minutes, but right over here I have a TP-Link 8-port gigabit 4-port PoE switch. So I picked up these PoE adapters, which, like I said, I'll talk about these here in a minute. But what it does is it splits out the power in the Ethernet. I'm only running that on the 2 Raspberry Pis, and I'll explain why here in a minute. So moving up, we have the second one from the bottom is a Raspberry Pi 3B. That one, a little upgraded version. It actually has 802.11ac built-in Wi-Fi. It has dual band, so it does 2.4 and 5. Bluetooth 4.2, which enables the Bluetooth low energy, saves a little bit on power. It has a quad-core ARM53 as well, but this one's actually running at 1.4 gigahertz, so it's a little bit faster. And it has 1 gigabyte of DDR2 low power DDR2 RAM. I didn't even mention the bottom one. It actually has 1 gigabyte of RAM as well, but it's only SD RAM. So it actually still has a 10100 megabit Ethernet jack built in. They talk about that you can do Gigabit Ethernet through USB 2.0. I haven't tried it, not really too concerned with it. But that one is actually going for about $41 on Amazon right now. The 3B is actually going for $39 on Amazon. You can find them a little cheaper in some places, but that's what they're going for right now. In that one, I've only got a 16 gig SanDisk. I brought a couple of 64s with me, but I ran out, so I had to go purchase one. Just picked up a quick 16 gig SanDisk. Because I'll talk about it in a minute, but I'm not running anything on those SanDisks. They're actually, everything's running off of these hard drives. Moving on to the next two. These are actually both identical. I bought both of them at the same time. They are a newer board that just came out not too long ago. They're called Libre is the company, and they are dubbed the Renegade boards. The actual model is a ROC RK3328-CC. Those are going for about $35 on Amazon. As you can tell, I love Amazon. I do most of my shopping on there just because I have Prime membership and most of it's free shipping. Downside of these boards is they don't have any Bluetooth, they don't have any Wi-Fi built in. Wasn't too concerned about it because most of my stuff is running Ethernet. And I'll talk a little bit more about the actual setup here in just a minute. This has a quad-core ARM53 1.4 gigahertz, just like the Raspberry Pi 3B Plus, same processor. It does have 1 gigabyte of RAM, but the nice thing about these is they actually have DDR4, which is quite a bit faster. As far as the memory goes, it does have Gigabit, and it does have 1 USB 3.0 and 2 USB 2.0 ports. Both of the Raspberry Pi 3B and 3B Plus only have 4 USB 2. That's pretty much about those boards. Each one of these Libre Renegades has a 4 terabyte Western Digital USB 3.0 drive plugged in, which you can see here. Don't mind that little fan. When I bought these boards, they didn't come with a heatsink. Let's see if I can get in here and you can see this bottom one. I actually had a heatsink left over from those Raspberry Pis. The top one I did not, and they were getting pretty hot. So what I did is I just plugged the fan into the GPIO ports of the Raspberry Pi to give it power, and just threw a fan on there until my actual USB powered fan and heat sinks come in from Amazon. So all of these are actually plugged into a TP-Link 8-port gigabit switch. 4 of those ports are actually power over Ethernet, which is what I was talking about, those adapters being able to power the Raspberry Pis. So the actual Libre boards are plugged directly in because they are gigabit capable, and those adapters only do 10-100. So they were perfect for the Raspberries, but not for the Libres. Those 2 adapters are actually ANVISION active 5-volt 2.4 amp PoE splitters. So what it does, let's see if I can get it. It actually takes the power over Ethernet, just your regular Ethernet going to the switch, plugs in over here, and then over here you have 2 cords. You have a micro USB and you have a Ethernet that goes into the Ethernet on the board. These are only 10-100, so like I said, I did not use these for the Libres. You can see right there where it says data 10-100. They have a gigabit version of this, which I'll probably get later down the road for the Libres to be able to power them via PoE, so I'm not having to use this USB. I don't know if you can see it back here. I have a USB hub right there, which used to power the Raspberry Pis and everything else. Just a little bit of the front side of everything plugged in and running. There is the TP 8-port PoE switch. Like I said, 4 of those ports are PoE, and on the back they actually have, if you can see right there, I don't know if you can see it from here, probably not. 4 of them are PoE. Sitting on top of it, I actually have a TP-Link AC 1900, which is also nicknamed the Archer C9. That is running DDWRT, and the reason why I went with that is because the cool thing about this DDWRT software, I'm not an expert by any means, but I've been playing around with it for a little bit. The beauty of it is, as you can see right up here, I have 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi. This is 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi. It does have 2 USB ports, which I just haven't shut them off, but there's nothing plugged into them. One of them being USB 3.0 right here on the side. This is your internet connection, wireless protected setup, which I don't use. And then also this is the LAN, which for some reason the light is not working. Might be an issue in DDWRT. The beauty of this is I have a free Wi-Fi provider out here, and all they do is Wi-Fi. They have no Ethernet to these rooms. So what I do is, the beauty of using this is I can connect that 2.4 gigahertz or that 5 gigahertz. Right now I have the 2.4 gigahertz is actually connected as a client to that free Wi-Fi. That is via DDWRT. And the 5 gigahertz is actually my local connection for me to be able to connect my computers, laptops, stuff like that. The last thing before I wrap this up, because just wanted to get a quick video, I will be doing a review slash setup of these devices because I'm about to redo this whole thing. Got quite a bit of clutter and just would like to get a nice clean setup on these. My last one is my my MacBook 13.3 inch. It is an older model. I think it was like 2007 model, so this thing is about 10 years old. But what this thing actually has running on it is Linux, Lubuntu variant, and it is actually running a Linux with a, it's called i3. So what this is a window manager. And the reason why I put Linux on it is because it is a very, well not very, but it is a much older MacBook. So Mac is getting really slow on it. So I wanted to play more with Linux because all of these boards run Linux. So I put Linux on there, ran a i3 window manager, which is more of a command prompt shell. And what that allows me to do is use that for management of these devices. Now the funny thing is I did that and then realized these devices didn't run Plex as well as I wanted. So I ended up putting Plex Media Server on here. So it sits here plugged into the Wi-Fi, and it just dishes out all my media content to my tablet. Thanks guys. I'll be putting up a couple more videos, like I said, outlining the walkthrough of how to rebuild these and how to a little bit more detailed review. But just wanted to kind of get a video out there showing my setup and just kind of, you know, show you guys what I'm all about, and hope to do more of these videos in the future. Leave a comment below. Links to everything that I have in this setup is going to be down below to Amazon. And if you guys have any questions, leave a comment below, and I would love to hear from you guys. Anything I can do to better produce this content, any tips or tricks you guys have for media or YouTubing, love to hear it. Thanks.